In a world where going for a short stroll in a nearby forest would be considered suicidal, surviving, or perhaps thriving, is one of the most difficult things to accomplish. Even more so for those who are blessed, maybe cursed would be the better word, to possess the capability of harnessing the foul powers of the warp. At the very least, allow me to assist you, dear viewer, in getting through this conundrum to the best of my ability. In my opinion, it is far better to not invest any magic stats when starting a mage character, for the simple reason that magic is not something for newcomers to dabble in. When you first start out, you are not exactly the wealthiest of people in this game, and spells cost at least 500 gold, not to mention how often you may fail the casting process to begin with. Best to invest points onto combat stats for now. These stats would still be relevant as magic is not reliable anyways. Once you've made your character, it is time to fight in the arena. Thankfully, the rewards you get for winning are increased in this mod, so this is a risk-free way to earn money in order to move on to far more lucrative methods. Not all arenas are built equally. Some are easier to fight in, owing to the virtue of it being smaller. Some are harder to fight in, since it spawns archers in advantageous positions. Nevertheless, continue on earning money through this method. After you have earned at least 3,000 or more gold, you are to now buy a horse and a lance. Any basic saddle horse would work, but faster ones are recommended. For the lance, on the other hand, I strongly suggest that you get something that is at least as long as Kislev Great Lance or Blood Lance from Sylvania. Anything shorter, and you might have trouble with completing this guide. The extra gold is for ensuring that you can bribe Kislev into letting you grind in peace. Said troll armies can usually be found between the central and western part of Kislev. Assuming that you have gotten both the long lance and a fast enough horse, this fight should be manageable. The biggest threat to your success in engaging this army would be the goblin wolf riders and archers. The troll, on the other hand, is rather easy to deal with, provided you did buy the long lances. If not, there's always the risk of the troll's mace colliding with your skull first, then your couched lance actually landing on this beam. When it comes to the archers, just wait until they run out of ammo by running perpendicularly from the enemy. As for the goblin wolf riders, my suggestion is that you move around like a snake in order to not get surrounded whilst targeting the enemy riders or mounts at the same time. Although I must admit that this is complicated by avoiding arrows, obstacles and map border as well. Terrain could also be an issue, but you can always shift the odds to your favor by retreating in order to re-roll the map, and the max variety of maps that exist per fight is 3. Once you have succeeded in defeating the army, keep repeating this engagement and put all your stats into intelligence and all the magic related skills. I strongly recommend that you do not touch magic until all of your magic stats are at least 5, because you do not want to miscast during the most critical of moments. Once you do manage to reach it though, then you may purchase the easier spells from the schools you desire. If you don't wish to sacrifice armor in exchange for magic, you can always increase your willpower skill. Still, you can only use willpower to override casting penalty for a limited amount of times, and armor does reduce your capability in gathering mana, so keep this in mind. Another big issue with investing in willpower is that, unlike NPCs who don't really need things like inventory space, leadership, or other skills in general, you do need these. That's all I can say about being a mage in this mod. Plenty of schools to choose from, but so far I prefer the lore of Undeath, since you summon soldiers that last for the entire battle out of thin air. I have not tried all lores of magic yet, so if you guys have any questions regarding any lore of magic, I can only give you information about the lore of vampires or undeath. I hope this video has been amusing or even useful. If it was, please subscribe, and as always, have a great time.